Ooh, Alabama gets the #1 safety in the country. What was it about Alabama?
LSU Tigers, #1. Go Tigers.
In the next 4 years, I'm going to Denver University.
Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977. Now, here's D Squared.
Welcome, everyone, as we are winding down another great week of the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio. A lot of baseball conversation today. As we later on this hour, we're going to talk to the guy that will be calling the action in Tuscaloosa. He was a 3-time All-American from Lafayette, Louisiana, a 3-year starting pitcher for the Crimson Tide, Friday night guy. Was the closer as a freshman, had one of the great careers in Crimson Tide history, went on to be a 7-year major leaguer as a relief pitcher, and that is Lance Cormier. He is going to join us. He does a lot of work for SEC Network, ESPN Plus, and he is going to be on the call tonight for the television coverage, which will be on ESPN Plus for Alabama and Nicholls State. Nobody more well-versed right now in the Alabama baseball program. You've heard Lance on our sister station on ESPN 97.7 The Zone. We caught up with him last week. We've caught up with him several times during this journey for Alabama baseball. A very interesting one, as we know. Just earlier in this month, this last month, now we are in June. It's been close to almost exactly a month ago. Brad Bohannon was dismissed from the helm of Alabama baseball. Jason Jackson, the pitching coach, has taken over. But this Alabama baseball team has taken off. They have 40 wins now. For the first time since the 2006 season, they are hosting a regional in Tuscaloosa for the first time since the Joe was redone just about 7 years ago and reopened in for the 2016 season. This will be the first regional for Alabama. Lance has talked about how big it would be for the program for this to happen. From what I understand, and I think Greg Byrne kind of let that cat out of the bag over in Destin at SEC Spring Meetings, where you have heard Steve Moulton, our own Steve Moulton, and he was on this show this week as well, host of The Drive with our own West Neighbors. They were both down there for the last 3 days for the SEC Spring Meetings in Destin. That it sounds like all tickets as far as chairbacks are sold. They are selling some standing room only tickets. So it sounds like it's going to be a tremendous college baseball atmosphere for the University of Alabama. And I know they're looking forward to this. The players certainly are. They've been very active on social media asking for Bama fans to turn out and pack the park. And certainly the right field Ragers will be packed. I'm sure they do a great job. That's always been a big factor, the student section. So out in right field, it will be a zoo out there, and that's a good thing for Alabama. But it sounds like also inside the stadium, it will be very well attended. And so we will be there for 97.7 The Zone. I will be making the trip to Tuscaloosa tonight to cover that game against Nicholls State, and we hope to be there for a good weekend run for the University of Alabama. But certainly yesterday they spoke to the media, did the Jason Jackson, Andrew Pinckney, and Luke Coleman. Luke Coleman will be on the bump tonight against Nicholls State, who has an outstanding starting pitcher who helped them win the Southland Conference tournament and get this automatic bid. But we wanted to bring you this press conference to start off our last show of the week and bring you coverage of this regional as the University of Alabama spoke to the media yesterday.
Do I need to give an opening statement?
Yeah, we'll let him get situated real quick. Stu, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll begin with the opening statement from Coach and then take questions after. So raise your hands, please, and we'll get you guys taken care of.
All right. Well, first of all, good afternoon. Thank you guys for being here. It's exciting. I'm glad to be sitting here. And we're really excited about getting the opportunity to host. We have a great field. There's some really good baseball teams here. And, we've had a great week of practice, and our guys are excited and fired up to play in front of the home crowd. And yeah, that's about it.
Joe?
Coach, what does it mean to you had to host the first regional since 2006 here?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
It means a lot. It means everything, you know, and I think as a coach and as a player, you know, you work hard all year to get this opportunity, and, you know, certainly we're very excited about it. I think I'm just as excited for everyone involved in our program that has seen it, you know, kind of continue to kind of grow a little bit, you know, over the past few years, and to all the stuff that it's taken to get to this point, and the people behind the scenes that, you know, maybe you don't think about that have put a lot of time and effort in to helping this thing get to this point. And so happy for our staff, I'm happy for these players, and I'm really happy for everybody involved.
Like Greg Byrne yesterday in Destin kind of voiced his support for the job that you've done. Just what does that mean to you, and what has this last month been like for you?
I tell you what, you know, you go through, you know, or the way the last month has gone, right? And I've told people this, like, this is a special place, right? And we've known this was a special place, and I've always felt like we had this great culture, and we have this great chemistry, and we have the great department, and I've always known that, I've always felt that. And then the way it's felt the last month has even taken that to a different level. Like, it's even, you knew this place was special, and now you realize just how special it is. And it's because of Greg and his leadership and the whole athletic department. And I go back to it, it's the people that are around every single day, you know, that make our jobs easier, that makes it easier on these guys. These guys have every resource you can imagine available to help them become the best version of themselves and the best player they can be. And they give us everything that we need to do the job that we need to do. So yeah, you always knew how special this place was, but sometimes when, you know, the way things have been the last month, it takes it to another level. You're like, man, I knew it was great, but I didn't know how great, you know. And it takes, you know, something like this, you know, sometimes it helps you realize it even more.
Austin?
Yeah, Coach, when you guys lost to Vandy on Friday, I think most outlets had you at 10, 11, 12 national seed. Obviously, you got the 16. Was there any bit of a surprise there that you weren't, you know, rated higher than that after the conference tournament last week?
Yeah, you know, the committee's got a tough job, right? They sit in there and they have all these resumes and all these teams, and they try to mix and match them as best they can. And honestly, I don't think our guys cared where that name popped up, as long as we popped up on there somewhere, you know. So the fact that we were hosting, you know, that was, I don't want to say like that was enough, but like you go into that, you're like, what, 16, 12, 11, whatever. Like, let's just, you know, you're going to be playing good teams no matter where you're at. I mean, everybody at this stage of the year is really good. So, no, I mean, I don't think anybody really thought much of it. I don't know what goes into those rooms, you know. Those guys sit down, they got a tough job putting all those pieces together.
Sorry, Coach. Maxwell?
For this small theory, was there a moment that you guys kind of realized this season that like hosting was a possibility? And also, the players, can you guys talk about what hosting means to you guys?
You want me to answer the first one? You guys was that for me?
The first part was small theory, and then
was there a moment?
Like, was there a specific moment that you realized, like, oh, postseason baseball's coming to the job?
Well, you know, I think that as we continue to play down the stretch, we try to keep everything one game at a time and just keep winning, you know. And I mean, these guys know, like, they know, you know, you see stuff, whether it's social media, I'm sure they see projections and everybody talks about it. So it's not, I mean, you're not blind to it, right? But we've said it in here a lot, man, try to keep the main thing and just take it one game at a time. And, you know, I would say, you know, going into Hoover, you know, we felt pretty good about our chances of, you know, being in a regional for one, and then we knew we were right there on that. We felt pretty good about having a good chance to host, but it's just go in and keep trying to play well, keep trying to take care of business. And if we do that, then all the other stuff falls into place.
Yeah, I mean, hosting a regional, I guess, is really cool. It's nice to have the big games be at home and have the crowd support, and that makes a big difference and can change the outcome of the game. So being able to, you know, get a good night's sleep, not sleep in the hotel bed, you know, eat a good breakfast and not eat nasty eggs.
Well, he had a good hotel break. Jack doesn't get
Yeah, right. But yeah, just it makes a difference, and it, you know, it can change the outcome of the series. So I'm glad to be here.
Exactly. The same thing with me. I mean, get to stay home, get good food, and, you know, just feeling of being home helps a lot. And fan base is gonna be awesome. So
you guys are gonna have to answer it, Jack, now, because Jack worked hard on those meals and we're on the road.
That's the hotel.
And I think the food's pretty good, Chris. I think You look at me and think I don't eat well?
God, Sam.
Coach, can you kind of speak about how you guys have been preparing for your opponent tomorrow at Nicholls State? They might be coming in to here with, kind of an underdog mentality. Can you talk about how you've been preparing for that?
We prepare for it like we prepare for everybody. That's a really good team. Everybody this time of year is either one, like playing their best baseball and they've gotten hot at the right time, or two, they've been good all year and they've got a great body of work and that's why they're here. So we know they have a great ball club. They've had a really good season and they've got a really, and they haven't announced the starter yet, but I know they have a really good arm that's had a great year, and they have an older veteran lineup that's done a really good job offensively for them. So yeah, all of our focus is right there trying to go 1-0 tomorrow night.
Awesome.
Yeah, you don't have to quite juggle your pitching rotation as much as you did last week in Hoover, but is there a plan going into this week, more of like a weekend series type feel?
Right, yeah, we have a plan. We haven't exchanged anything yet, but yeah, we have a plan going into the weekend. And it will involve Luke.
Mike?
Just how much has your role, for you changed going back to before you had this job until now, and just how have you been able to balance the rest of your staff and kind of what they do? Yeah,
so me personally, I've tried to keep everything as close to norm for all of us, for everybody. And I know for me, I'm kind of a creature of habit with a lot of things I do in terms of my weekly routines or my daily routines. And so for me personally, I've tried to keep everything exactly how I did all year. There's a few more things that are on my plate now that is fine, no problem. But in terms of, nothing's changed of what I was doing before. I've kept everything that was important to me, that the way I prepare for opponents and the way we go through our work during the week and our meetings and all of our stuff, I didn't want any of that to suffer or change, I guess is a better word, because of some other things that I needed to do now. So we've kept everything the same. There's just a few more things each day that I need to be on top of, I guess.
Joe?
Coach, Troy comes in here as well this weekend, and you've played them twice already. Does that create a layer of complication for your preparation, or it gives you a little air of confidence in your preparation?
Well, the good thing is we've had some time. The regionals get announced on Monday, so it's not like you've got one day to prepare for 3 teams. We've had we've had the week pretty much to prepare, and we have a great staff. They've been working hard, and so we feel like we've got some good prep work in over the week. Now we take it one game at a time. I have I don't know if phobia is the right word, but I have this thing where we don't ever look to the next, we just go one game at a time. So all of our focus has been on preparing for tomorrow night. And now if whatever happens there, we'll be ready for the next day as well. So I think it makes it, I guess it's kind of nice to have somebody who've already played, so you're kind of familiar with them. So some of the prep work might not be quite as extensive. But yeah, that's kind of how we looked at it.
Max?
Yeah, you mentioned there is a pitching plan. Do you want to disclose any of that, or are you going to keep that close to the vest?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it close for right now. Yeah.
Yes, I have one for Luke too. How do you, as a pitcher, just coming off last week where it was maybe a little more hectic, how do you prepare for a regional as a staff?
We got extra time from the tournament, the SC tournament, so we kind of it's a weekend. It's a 3-game weekend. We're going into it and just prepare it the same way. The whole year we have just prepared the same way.
From what you've seen from Nicholls, what do you think has gotten them here to this point, and what makes them a quality opponent?
I think that they're a really well-rounded team. When you look at their numbers, they have, they've got a really good Friday night starter, but they also have some other pieces around him that have done a really good job on the mound. And I think you have an older veteran lineup that is really competitive. They have really tough at bats. They're hitting close to 300 as a team. They like to run, they like to action a little bit. So, I think they're just a very well-rounded ball club, and I think they've got great leadership, and Coach Silva's done a great job, and they're going to be a tough opponent for sure.
Mike?
Just for both players, what would it mean, given how the season's gone, to be able to advance from this regional and get out of here and continue playing a season that some people thought was dead a while ago?
It'd be great. I just like to play baseball, and getting to play a little longer with these guys would be great. And if you told me, when I was 12 years old, I'd have a chance to go to Omaha, then I'd be super excited. So that's just how I'm looking at it.
Same thing with me. I just love playing baseball too, and more time I can spend with them, even in the locker room, with practice, stuff like that. Just bonding time, I guess, it's fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, for both the players. Obviously, I think JJ probably helped recruit you guys when you guys were high schoolers. You're now 10-4 under him. Things feel a little different around here. What kind of has JJ meant to you guys, from the beginning of your college career and of course now?
Yeah, I mean, from my end, like JJ was the pitching coach, so it's kind of just been like, all right, he's just trying to get me out during practice. I just don't talk to him, but it's good to have him. He's super calm, super business as usual, and everything has been the same since everything happened. So it's just been let's just take it a game at a time and try to win the next game. So.
Same with me. I've talked to him a lot more than Nick has, but he's a good coach, good guy, and we just love to play for a good guy. So.
That was Jason Jackson, Luke Holman, and Andrew Pinckney speaking to the media as they preview their matchup against 34-22 Nicholls State, who split with LSU, by the way, losing 12-2 in game one, but in the rematch, winning it 6-5. So this is a talented Nicholls State squad, a veteran team, an older team. A lot of these group of five teams are older anyway because of COVID. These guys don't go as high in the draft, so they are more apt to return to school. So, again, a very dangerous squad that Alabama will face. It's very capable, beating one of the best teams in the country when you're talking about LSU, who is a national seed and, as we said, was the third seed in the SEC tournament, but has the best pitcher in the country. And, we've talked about him throughout, Paul Skeens. I mean, he's just a tremendous talent. And of course, they've got, the SEC Player of the Year in Dylan Cruz. So they're a really good ball club. It is Nicholls State and a very dangerous 4 seed. And so it'll be very key for Alabama to win this game tonight. And they haven't announced it, but we would be surprised if Luke Coleman is not the starter. But, again, Alabama needs to get this win because it's very, very difficult to come out of the loser's bracket, no doubt about it, if you don't take care of business. But speaking of Auburn, they are going to host their own regional, and we wanted to bring you some of that as well as Butch Thompson spoke to the media previewing the Auburn regional. We wanted to bring you that a little bit right now, some of that conversation here as we roll on this Friday on the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio.
How was the week in preparation for regional play?
Similar to last year, I guess we played a couple more games at the tournament, but we still were able to take a day off and then kind of abbreviated template. I think we took 2 days off last year. We took one and then started getting back together in the weight room, some movements. We did 2 squad days, so we actually played against ourselves for 2 days. And then we started tapering, I think, Tuesday. We did the day after Memorial Day, we did a morning session of weightlifting, and then, of course, we went to the lake to do something to stay together, kind of a two-a-day concept. Come back and practice, I guess, Monday, and last night we practiced at 6 p.m., which is a game time, to just get used to the sun, the field, the time of everything, and pretty light today. All 4 teams are practicing today on the field. We took the 10 o'clock slot, or was given the 10 o'clock slot this morning, so we've already finished our work for the regional now. Now it's they'll have a budget of time of the rest of the day and play until 6 tomorrow. They'll have a lot to, part of that traditional game time of getting ready, that pregame meal at 2 o'clock tomorrow. So they have some time for the rest of the day and tomorrow to get ready, but a very similar template that's worked pretty good for us the last few years.
Butch, what have you seen out of Penn now that you had a chance to look at them?
Yeah, patient hitters. We're going to see somebody that reminds us of Joseph Gonzalez for our fans to know that's the type of pitcher that we're seeing, maybe 91, 94 sinker type guy with a slider and some type of changeup, maybe even a split. Where that fastball movements, we worked the machine a little bit, trying to create some sync and trying to continue to get lined up with that pitch with our hitters. Joseph was probably 27 to 32%, a little bit more with the fastball offering. So this is probably a 38% type sinker deal like Joseph, but a lot more of the off-speed stuff, a lot more sliders, a lot more change-ups, and very successful starting pitcher. They got a closer with multiple saves, 6 or 7 saves, so that always gives you respect. I think for this team, they've won 8 games in a row. won their deal. Southern Miss won their deal. Sanford won their deal. I caution everyone to, as we prepared, this feels like as tough of a field as we had last year. Sometimes the casual fan can't get past the big names. We had a Florida State and a UCLA here last year, which is that branded name. These are good baseball teams. Like I said, they've won 8 in a row. They have patient hitters, a lot more right-handed. And the other biggest compliment I can give to Penn is after this season, 5 of their graduating seniors will come and play at Texas A&M, at Georgia, at Virginia Tech, at Virginia, for example. So pretty good roster that has a lot of our respect. But, you know, we feel like we are prepared. We feel like we're a confident ball club. You have to get to that stage to make a run. And really all our focus is on Penn because they are what stands in the way of us being able to try to advance in this tournament beginning tomorrow. They'll try to link up. When I say patient hitters, they're really trying to pass it to the next guy, put pitches into you. It's not a track meet, and it's not, 17 sacrifices, maybe a little bit more in our league, but it's not everything. I think they're just trying to link up, have at bats, put pitches in pitchers, and just have good veteran at bats. And like I said, they've won. They're on a hot streak, and a lot of the people that we gathered information from felt like it was some type of Power 5 pitching staff. So those are some things that we're thinking about.
Butch, at what point did you see Bryson and say, hey, this is different than what it has been?
Oh, when he come in from Pearl River, I mean, him and Bobby Pierce, I remember the first fall they were together, they were just, the balls were going everywhere. From a batting practice and a practice standpoint. And in the game stuff, it was a little different. Of course, we had to do surgery with Bobby, which held him until last year to get it going. And Bryson was just so athletic. He came as a junior college shortstop, wound up being able to go to the outfield, come back and plays third. Just his character and stuff, it's just you never want to stop believing. These players are allowed to get better, and as long as somebody is a great teammate, they're getting good grades, they're always on time, they're that talented, I don't think you ever give up on it. And Bryson didn't give up on himself either, which is we've chronicled that the best we could. And it kind of merged up. I think his strike zone has gotten smaller from my standpoint. And players allowed to get better. He's been here long enough. He never quit on himself. Coach Gross, Coach Nunemaker, everybody kept working with him, and that's what you get is a great result. I remember Foster sat here for a freshman year. I'm proud of him too. Cole Foster sat here behind a Ryan Bliss and learned coming from high school, how to play short. He'd come in as like a $1 million baby, and he sat right there and sat behind Ryan Bliss and learned the position. And now he's being rewarded for it. I do think in this day and time, these are a couple of good examples to remind the world, a young baseball player that may be anywhere, to absolutely, this journey can be rewarding by staying engaged and continuing to grow and get better. But Bryson has good comfort. He has great confidence. I think his confidence is an all-time high. And I think everything merged at the